Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow degenerates, to the number one sports gambling podcast out there in any universe, but especially this one. It's Betting the Diagonal. I'm your boy, Morgan, a.k.a. Mo Watts 26, with my boy, Billy the Kid, a.k.a. Billy Football, Billy FFD. How we doing, Billy?
I've had better weeks. I'm not going to lie to you. Not going to lie.
Divulge a little bit. What's going on? What's wrong? Talk to Dr. Morgan here.
I'll give the full breakdown, but I went 0-7 on my Saturday card. Didn't put an NFL card out because I didn't feel confident. I'll get into it. How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Hopefully feeling even keel. I broke even. It was a pretty solid weekend. Nothing too crazy. No ups, no downs. Had a couple heartbreaks, and I went against my gut a couple times, which I talked myself out of for stupid reasons because I faded you. So
it's fair.
It backfired. It backfired. But it's karma, I guess. I deserve that.
I mean, it was fun to have the NFL back. Especially, I'm a big fantasy guy. It was fun. The NFL did better for me than college did, but not good enough to make me feel good. But it is what it is. Before we go into picks, I wanted to break something down for you guys. I just want to clear the air because when I have a bad day like I did on Saturday and really Sunday, I didn't do well. You didn't see it, but privately I still gambled because I'm trying to work myself out of the rut, trying to get myself back together.
Get some money back.
Yeah, try to build my bankroll after a brutal day. Listen, I went 0-7 officially, but it was worse than that. Live bets, other things. It didn't work out. Listen, I just wanted to clear the air a little bit. I want to, make things right. Apologize to the fans, because what were you going to say?
I'm just going to say our boy went from down bad to down astronomically bad.
Yeah, Morgan almost felt bad for me. He felt so bad for me to the point I called him on Sunday morning. I want a little pep talk. That's all I wanted. I was about to go live on Instagram for FFD. A little pep talk from my boy. You know what I got? A voicemail. I got a voicemail.
I was out cold. I do remember looking over and seeing my phone and be like, why the fuck is Billy calling me right now? He knows I'm asleep. What is going on? But we've all had those days. They happen.
Yeah. So when I have a card like that and my mind is going full tilt, I'm not going to put a card up on Sunday, no matter if it's the Super Bowl or it's fucking week 1 of the NFL, because I don't feel confident in giving the picks. And what we do as a podcast and as just putting picks on the internet, we gave out that phrase, it's just money. It's not just money. It's my hard-earned money that I've worked for and that you worked for as well, for the people back at home. So
I don't to see it go away.
Yeah, I don't want to see it go away. I don't want to see the fans, our haters, whatever it is, whatever you guys are listening to us. I don't want to see you guys lose money either. I felt so tilted after Saturday night. I went chasing after the 0-7. Dug a deeper hole. Things we tell everybody don't do. But, in my heart, I felt like, hey, I'll get out of this. I'll just throw a couple of this, a little bit of that. Didn't work. And you add in the fact on Sunday, I do the DFS article every week. I didn't have one DFS lineup hit. I was told it was the worst DFS lineup in the history of DFS lineups. And I don't disagree. It was a good lineup. The matchups were correct. I did all the work, all the homework, all the research. Sometimes it just doesn't do right. So, first off, when you're talking shit, just know I worked hard on it. It wasn't just me throwing random names out of a hat. I spent 26 hours on that fucking article. It's not a fun thing for me to give you guys losing picks, losing lineups, but it's something that's part of gambling. And I learned from it. I know better than to just throw out my card on Sunday morning. Okay, well, I did go 0-7, but here are some more losing picks for you guys. No, I'm a better man than I know when I'm having a rough time. Our producer, Joe, is like, hey, you really didn't put a card? I'm like, you were with me the last 24 hours. How could I put a card out and be confident in myself? Because it's confidence. It's a confidence thing for me. But Morgan's like, oh, at least I put a card up, but I didn't tweet anything. I said, my boy, I needed help. I needed help from you. I needed help. You couldn't. I was sitting on an island by myself. There was a point where I couldn't even fade myself. So I just wanted to clear the air. I'm upset I wasn't there for you guys for NFL kickoff. Uh, I'm not as tilted as I was. You know, I privately hit the Raiders money line, which we talked about on Thursday's episode. I took the Steelers,
which I was stupid and I faded you because you were so cold. And
but
I went
it's a
with
fair
Ravens.
thing. You know, it's a fair thing. I took the Steelers to cover. They won outright. You know, I started to get my legs back. The Browns, I had money line, and they should have won outright, but the punter ruined my life. Sitting in a room filled with Browns fans, it was not fun.
Must be an Ohio thing.
Yeah, listen, Ohio, it's not for gamblers, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely not for
I'm pretty
lovers,
sure.
but it ain't for
I was gonna say I'm
gamblers.
pretty sure Ohio is for lovers, but it's not for gamblers.
It ain't for
I
lovers
think
or
I
gamblers. I
think I'm
found
pretty
neither.
sure Hawthorne Heights taught me that one a long, long time.
Eh,
I think that was in my emo phase when I was in high school.
I'll say I was a little upset the entire weekend. I went to a couple bars, had live band, didn't hear that song once. A little upsetting.
That's criminal right there.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. But like I
That's
said, I
like
just wanted to
hearing "Take Me Home,
apologize.
Country Roads" when you're in West Virginia. They go hand in hand.
There's things you got to do, you know? Like I said, I just want to apologize, move forward. It's a new week, it's a new slate of games, and I'm ready to go. I got picks again. Um, I'm back, boys. I'm back. That's all I
That's
got
what
to
we
say.
love.
I'm back.
That's the energy we want to bring this week. Every week's a brand new week. We start fresh. The slate is clean. We wipe it away. It's gone. We're shoveling it out of here. The shit is out. Now we start fresh. We bring in new picks. We're in week 2 of the NFL season. It feels like the season's flying by already. Before we know it, it's going to be over already. This is
You have a game
unbelievable.
tomorrow.
I cannot wait. I am pumped to see the two shitty teams play.
Yeah.
The Giants and the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins. I'm not touching it. They stink.
No, I'm not,
I'll
I'm not
probably
on the game either.
I'll probably have something, maybe a little tiny guy play out there, but nothing crazy happening for that game.
I have some trends if you want for the NFL for week 1. I don't know if you wrote them down.
I do not go for it.
I told you it's a new week. I'm coming prepared. I'm ready to go.
Love it.
Uh,
Love it.
Dogs against the spread last week were 12-4.
Dogs killed it last week.
Yeah,
Absolutely killed it.
which is wild because almost every year week 1 is the favorite week. You know, so it wasn't fun for me because I was going with the trend over the past few years. They were also 9-7 straight up. Unders 9-7 in week 1, and they need 2 overtime games to hit the over on the other 2. So really, unders were the right play. Home versus away splits were straight up even. During straight up matchups were 8-8, but against the spread 9-7 favor of the away team. A little interesting fun fact. See if that continues. When something like that happens, I don't really consider it a trend until like 3 or 4 weeks. So I'm not riding with like, oh, dogs covered last week, they're gonna keep covering. I'm just gonna go with what I think is right.
No, I think that's really strong. I like that. There were some really interesting things. I kept seeing the dog thing all over Twitter and socials everywhere this past week, and I was like, this, and like you just said, week 1 is a favorites week. It favors the favorites consistently. It made for some awesome football this past week. Like there were some awesome games. You know, that Monday night game was awesome between the Ravens and the Raiders. That was a
Phenomenal.
great game. You know, the Rams game, the Rams offense looked awesome. Like that was a fun game to watch. My Eagles, where did that come from? That was our Super Bowl right there.
Was that a
That's not
fluke or is
happening.
that
I will say, and everyone knows I am not a Jalen Hurts guy. I'm not a Jalen Hurts
you
fan.
are
I
now,
never
aren't you?
have been. I was impressed. I will admit when I'm wrong. I was thoroughly impressed by him. He sat at 51% completion percentage last year. He was at 77% in this game. Yes, it was one game,
Okay.
but he looked good. He looked really good. Our offensive line looked dominant again. Jordan Mailata, my God, that Aussie, he is a beast.
Yeah, he was good.
You see,
I went back, watched the whole game.
oh my God, that dude is an animal. I kept saying for years that they need to put him out at fullback until he's ready to go at left tackle. Devontae Smith, again, another one. Wasn't super huge on Devontae Smith during the draft show, even mock draft when I did. I had him, I believe, pick 18 to the Giants. Devontae belongs. He belongs in the NFL. He's going to be a good receiver for a long time.
Yep.
He
He's big
reminds me a
enough.
lot. He is big enough. He reminds me a lot of Isaac Bruce and Marvin Harrison out there. So, I mean, I admit when I'm wrong. I'm the bigger man. There were some good things, though. You know, Dallas lost. Love to see that. The champs They looked like champs. Big loss losing Sean Murphy Bunting, though, so we'll see how that happens, what it goes on there.
I got a little play on that this week. We'll talk about it when it gets there.
I do as well, but it might be a different play. The Chiefs, that Chiefs-Browns game was pretty freaking great to watch also. Like you said, Browns threw away a game that they should have won. But Mahomes did Mahomes things. There was a fun thing with that play that they actually had their fewest 20-yard plays in a game in 3 seasons, which was pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to figure out how to stop Tyreek, and I'm like, you can't. There's nothing you can do. You can just contain him. Like, if you put 3 or 4 guys on him, they're just going to go to Kelsey 12 times. Like,
yep. So Kelsey was eating. I was watching that game with a couple buddies, and it was actually driving me crazy because one of the guys who who it is. I won't put him on blast out here on the episode right now, but he kept yelling, "Ooh, it's the cheetah, the cheetah, the cheetah!" And I was going crazy, and I wanted to punch him the entire time. But Tyreek Hill put up some big plays, so it was pretty awesome. But let's get into some picks. Let's go. That's what we're here for. That's what the people are here for. We'll do some alternating picks. Billy, you want to lead us off with your first pick of the week?
My top pick. It's gonna be tight.
Top pick, first pick. We'll go right down the list.
I'll give you my top pick. Broncos -6 against the Jaguars. The Broncos are better than Texans, with or without Jerry Jeudy. Their defense is far better than Texans' defense. If you didn't know, you live under a rock. Everybody thought the Jaguars, including us, we thought the Jaguars to have one win on their season would be against the Texans. That didn't happen. The Texans look like a Super Bowl team compared to the Jaguars. Listen, Trevor Lawrence, 3 interceptions, tough first day, threw the ball 51 times. It reminds me a lot. It reminds me a lot of what happened last year with Joe Burrow, where the offensive line can't hold for more than half of a second. They look worse than they did last year. That's real hard to do. As long as you're getting this game under a 7-point spread, I think it's a no-brainer. At least for me, that's where I'm willing to go. If anything over 7, I'm gonna pass because the line is moving towards 6.5, and it's about to go to 7. I'm going to fade Urban Meyer for the rest of eternity. He is on the Adam Gase level of coaching through week 1. That's how bad he was as a coach. He should stick to recruited some convicted felons. Listen,
I hear a job just opened up in Southern California.
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, my heart's with the Jaguars." Literally the day after he was heard in the locker room saying, "I'm not sure if my heart's in this anymore." Your heart's still in it? You sure? Listen, if Mark Ingram can have a day against the Jags, just imagine what Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams can do against this defense. Noah Fant is going to step up big, create a mismatch nightmare for the Jaguars secondary, and the Broncos should win by double digits. I don't see any way they don't. That's my pick. Broncos -6.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that pick an awful lot. I said it before. I'll say it again. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to. I will also say I said this about Joe Burrow last year, but I don't think I'm as big on Trevor Lawrence as everybody else seems to be. Just like you said, that offensive line is going to be a problem, and you saw what happened with Joe Burrow last year.
Yeah,
pop goes the ACL.
Yep, I was in the Hall of Fame this weekend. Made sure to take a picture of the number 1 overall pick card. This way I can say the biggest bust of all time. But that's neither here nor there. What do you got for us, Morgan?
Not a bad pick, not bad. So I'll go with my favorite play of the week right now. Before we get into other ones, my favorite one I have is going to be the Cowboys Chargers over 55. These two teams have some of the best passing attacks in all football. And yes, the Cowboys just lost Michael Gallup for possibly the season, if not a long time. However, Dak Prescott looked like Dak Prescott. The guy who's going to throw 450 yards per every single game. He went for 403 with 3 touchdowns. The duo of CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper went 20 catches, 243 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Go to the other side of the ball. The Chargers are no slouches either. Justin Herbert loves to sling that ball around. He's got a cannon. That trio of Eckler, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen went for over 200 yards combined and a touchdown as well. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. As of about 5 hours ago, Dallas lost their best defensive lineman, DeMarcus Lawrence, to a broken leg. Massive injury for a team that already can't get a ton of pass rush as it is and has a questionable secondary. Last week when the Chargers we're playing Washington. Washington does not have nearly as good an offensive line as Dallas does with Tyron Smith. So I think Joey Bosa is going to be neutralized a little bit more. You're not going to see as much pressure where Joey Bosa looked phenomenal last weekend, just tearing up that Washington line. So I think you're really going to see a lot of big plays coming in this game. Both of these secondaries aren't that great. Both cornerback, their best players are for Dallas are their linebackers and on the defensive side. For Los Angeles, it's their safeties. That's nobody to cover the wide receivers. And I also think that Zeke is going to get much more involved in this game as well. I don't think he might go for 100, but I think he's going to get more than 10 touches. He's going to see the ball a little bit, and Eckler is going to find the ball. And Justin Jackson is a pretty nice compliment running back, and he's going to see some action too. I know, fantasy guy, you don't love him.
Justin Jackson is the third running back. Larry Roundtree is the second guy. I do have a stat when you're done about this game.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, last thing I'll have on that, what I love about this game, both of these teams last season were 9-7 over under. So I'm going to hit that over. I think this is going to be a shootout. I think we're looking at like a 40-30 kind of game in this one.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with the pick at all. I was just like doing some research on tonight on where the handle's going, how many bets are going to it. Real quick, the total went from 50.5 when it opened, and it's up to 55.5, which kind of worries me a little bit. I feel like at this point there's a little bit of value on the under, but like you said, I agree. I'm not going to bet it either way on the over under. But it says here 80% of the bets are on the over, with 97% of the money on the over. So, sometimes it's worth fading the public, but the public is right sometimes. And I personally, I would lean the over as well. I do like the bet. I think it's pretty good. I don't hate that. I'm just a little worried about the number. And I have another one that you're going to absolutely hate. I looked at the picks. But
each of these teams have hit 50 numbers, 50-plus numbers at a pretty decent clip, which is one of the things I really like about it.
One side note that worried me a little bit, at least from a fantasy aspect, was that Austin Eckler didn't get one target last week. That was a little strange.
It was weird. Definitely a very weird game.
Yeah, he'll definitely get some work this week in the passing game just because, Dallas defense is not nearly as good as Washington. But
I think you also in that one, you have a new first game head coach also, Brandon Staley. First game in the NFL, he's offensive mind, learning how to use his weapons, the ebb and flow of the game. I think Ken Wisenhunt is their OC. I'm not certain on that one, but I think it's Wisenhunt. Or if it might not be still. It definitely was at one point. So, they're going to figure out a way to get their best weapons involved. Keenan Allen started that game slow. He ended with, I think it was 9 for 103. Mike Williams ended with like 8 for 80-something and a touchdown, because that touchdown actually hurt me in fantasy because I had Keenan Allen. Williams. And the guy I was playing had Mike Williams and Eckler, actually. So, yeah, I think I like that play. That's going to be a fun game to watch. We'll see what happens, but I expect a lot of passing through that one. So let's see some big points.
Yeah, no, I said, I like that game a lot. Big Mike Williams guy, by the way. You know that about me, but
Clemson pride.
My next game is gonna be Saints -3. This is a game I already bet because now it's moving up to 3.5. I just saw some places. I don't know if this is a trap game or not because the number seems a little strange to me, but I'm taking it anyway. I'm leaning with the favorite in the Saints. I have a question. Do people not respect Jameis Winston's LASIK surgery yet, or what?
I don't think they do.
They not witness him throw 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions?
They not watch the beginning of an MVP season.
Yeah. It's not looking so bad.
Plus 5,000 Winston MVP bet. Now it's down to plus 1,800.
Yeah, he'll probably go back up. He'll probably throw an interception in this one.
It's fine. Throw 30 interceptions. It doesn't matter when you throw 60 touchdowns. You're on track for 85 touchdowns right now, baby.
Yeah. Shout out to Pick Six for giving those ridiculous stats out the other day.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, the Saints made Aaron Rodgers look like a flag football keg league quarterback. That defense is all over him, wide on rice, 2 interceptions, couple sacks, pressures on pretty much every play. Now, are we about to say that Sammy Smooches Donald is better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers? No, I don't think so. Listen, if I take this number up to a whole touchdown and the field goal and the extra point, so make it a 7 if you want it to be. It's an auto play at 3. The Saints didn't even need to show anything on offense. They Winston threw the ball 20 times. They had 145 passing, 146 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. The most targets out of one player was Troutman with 6. It was mostly a Kamara running in the end zone kind of day. Jameis is here. There's no film for
We're here for
the
Jameis season.
Panthers defense to really get a good look at like what a full drive looks like for them. Don't overthink this, in my opinion. The Panthers could hardly snuck out a win against the Jets. So Saints -3 or nothing for me on this one. I love the Saints.
It's an interesting pick for me. I don't hate it. The football guy in me, the gambler doesn't hate it. The football guy in me sits there and thinks this could be a letdown game after that big win against the Packers, because that's something that, playoff to playoff thing. If anything, I'll play a total or a team total. I won't play the spread on this game. But as soon, because I was reading that game earlier today, I was looking at it, and something to me just screams letdown, where the Saints are coming off that big game against the Packers, and that's the bad boys of the NFC, the Packers, and everyone thinks Super Bowl picks and whatnot, and the Saints just take a step back a little bit with Breeze gone. I don't know. I won't play the spread, but
listen,
the game's interesting.
I don't hate your theory. I'm just a big believer in Jameis. I think the team's more talented. It's a good defense for the Panthers, but they are young. Jameis is a stud. And worst case, Kamara will run it. Give it to him.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. I think I'd probably lean to the under in the game.
What's the number at? I don't have the number.
I have it at 45 right now.
I don't hate that.
I think I kind of lean under because the Panthers do have a pretty solid defense, and I don't really trust the Panthers offense yet with Darnold back there. He didn't look terrible in that first game and everything, but he didn't wow by any means. He reminded me of Sammy Sleeves, Slammy Bradford. So it's an interesting game. I would even consider maybe sprinkling a money line just because that's I think it could be a letdown potentially, but logic's there. The Saints should cover definitely. There's no reason.
It took 2 picks for him to start fading me again. There's no loyalty in this. No loyalty in this company, I swear. Real quick before we go to anything else, I just want to bring it up to the 20th time this week about Mr. Joe Green, our producer. We're sitting there watching football, and if you follow FFD, which you should be, at FFD_podcast, my sit of the week was, one of my 3 sits of the week was Darrell Henderson. He's got 6 fantasy points, looking great. And he's like, give the ball to Darrell Henderson. Give the ball to Darrell Henderson. I'm like, are you not a company, man? Goes, I have him on my team. I'm like, you're up by 50. Let it go. Let it go. Be a company, man.
Let me be winning here.
Yeah. Give me a win. What's your next pick, Morgan?
All right, my next one. I'm going to take the Bills laying 3.5 in Miami against the Dolphins. This is going to be game. If you watch that game against Pittsburgh with Buffalo the other day, Buffalo dominated that game. There was a couple plays.
That's a stretch. I watched every second of that game.
All right. If you don't want to say dominated, fine. But they had that game kind of in hand. They outgained the Steelers 371 to 252 yards. Like, they were cooking on offense. And the Steelers have a pretty good defense. Yes, they were not putting the ball in the end zone, which is a problem. But they were moving the ball around. It was sacks. It was turnovers. It was a muffed punt that killed Buffalo in that game. And they just couldn't get it done at the end of the game. I think Buffalo is going to come out and lay a monster number against Miami. Miami came in, has had a big win against New England, their big rival and everything. I think New England and Miami are really that second tier of the AFC. They're really battling as maybe a potential wild card team. They can go to it, but it's going to be 2 very different offenses. You have a conservative offense that is New England versus an aggressive aerial attack that is Buffalo. Buffalo averaged over 6 yards per play last season. Yes, they're only at 4.7 yards per play for week 1, but they were over 6 yards per play last season. Whereas New England just put up 5.6 yards per play against Miami. This is telling me that they're going to put big plays out there. They are going to move the ball. Second, Miami's defense, it's not that great. They have a really good secondary. Yes, that's awesome. But the receivers that Buffalo has are not really burner type of guys. They are route runners. They get open. They find those little crevices. Stephon Diggs, he's going to hit you your prop. Again, he did it again. I had a play on Stephon Diggs over his receptions this past week. The dude is money. when it comes to his receptions. He's like 17-1 in his last 18 on his reception prop. It's unbelievable. For Buffalo, I really think they're going to come out. The Dolphins allowed 51 plays in the air last season of over 20 yards. I think it's really going to kickstart Josh Allen's season right here. It's going to allow him to come out, find some place. And like I said, it's not going to be that massive home run, that 62-yard one, but it's going to be that yards after the catch that are going to be huge in this game. I think Stephon Diggs is going to cook. Dawson Knox might find a little something. Cole Beasley might find something. Gabriel Davis. We're both big Gabriel Davis guys here.
Probably out this week.
Okay, he's out this week.
Probably.
Doesn't change my play for that. But also, going back at it, Buffalo is 8-2 straight up and 6-4 against the spread in divisional games as the road favorite in the past the 2 seasons. Give me Buffalo laying 3.5. I'd probably play it up to about 6.5 or so.
Fun fact. 2 fun facts. First fun fact is positive, one's negative. All right. Last time Buffalo and Miami played, Buffalo beat them 56-20. Love to see it, right?
Absolutely love to see that.
Yeah. This is what you're gonna hate to see. 94% of the money is on Buffalo.
Smart money. They're watching this podcast right now. They're riding with Morgan.
My heart, I wanted to be on my thing, and I did that research. And I was like, I'm gonna stay off. I'm gonna stay away. I'm Buffalo's my second favorite team. That game was intense for me to watch. The Steelers-Buffalo game, very intense, but it is what it is. I will say the Buffalo defense looked real good. That defensive line looks very, very good. Rousseau, obviously, we talked about him. He should have been a top 15 pick if he didn't stay.
That guy, I liked him.
But he looks very strong on the end. Oliver looked great. So I don't hate the pick at all.
Espinenza, I don't know how to say his name. AJ from Iowa. He's a pretty solid guy over there. It's a good run stuffing end. They can do some things. I don't trust Tua. I think that's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. I don't trust him.
I went back and watched a lot of that Dolphins game, and I was like, it's a little strange. And then I confirmed it on Twitter. He throws 85% of his balls to the left side.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
The average for like
who the left side
hand, it doesn't matter, is 64%.
Left side cornerback for Buffalo is Mr. Tre'Davious White. Kind of an all-pro. No big deal there.
Top 3.
Pretty good guy. He's pretty good.
I was trying to come up with some more Tua slander, and I went back and watched the game. I was like, it can't be true. And then somebody literally, it just so happened to tweet it out. It was like he throws the ball to the left side 85% of the time. The average is 64%. Well, okay. It's like dominant hand side. So because people are like, well, he's a lefty. No, it's whatever your dominant hand. So if you're a righty, you tend to throw the right more. If you're lefty, you obviously tend to throw the left more. But he doesn't throw the ball to the right side. He's kind of like Saquon. He can only run right. Can't run left.
Saquon ain't running anywhere behind that offensive line.
Yeah.
He can only run backwards pretty much.
Yeah. My next pick is going to be over 39.5 yards for Kyle Pitts.
Fucking Kyle Pitts, that motherfucker.
Don't even worry. I texted Morgan today because he's like, I'm gonna try to trade for Kelsey. No, trade for Kyle Pitts in all of your fantasy leagues. Kyle Pitts disappointed many fantasy owners, including myself. I don't own him, but I have so much company stock, if you will, in Kyle Pitts. It's our most viewed video. My argument saying he's a top 5 fantasy tight end. Last week was the matchup of the century for him. Morgan agrees. Eagles can't stop a tight end in the last decade.
Very underwhelming. It killed a parlay I had, and I had a pretty nice. I got to do math. Hold on. 5-unit play on Kyle Pitts over in his receiving prop.
It's brutal. This is the week. Kyle Pitts showed me what I wanted to see. He was lining up out wide, lining up in the slot more times than lining up on inside. Last week he lined up in the slot 18 times, and if you can't do math very well, I'll give you the math. It was 42% of snaps he lined up in the slot. Now you're thinking, hey, why does that matter? What was that guy? What was the Buccaneers nickel corner that got hurt?
Bunting.
Yeah, he's out. You know what his backup is? Mr. Ross Cockrell, one of the worst backups in the league.
Former, he got Steeler, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, he was terrible. That's why he's not Steelers anymore. He was torched by both Amari and CeeDee Lamb, both very good wide receivers. But good thing is Kyle Pitts most likely going to be his matchup in this one. He allowed a 143.9 passer rating in week 1. In reality, Kyle Pitts really needs 2 or 3 catches to get there for that 39.5. I love this number, and I can't wait for the haters to be shut the fuck up about sell all Kyle Pitts stock, sell it all. I'll take everything you got. I'm in 5 fantasy leagues. I'm trading for all of them, trying to get him in all of them this week.
I love Kyle Pitts. I mean, I was very hurt when he didn't go off. I like him, the player. I love him, the fantasy player. I actually just traded for him in Madden today too, because I like him that much.
So I'm gonna do after this.
I had to sell the farm. Let's get him in here. Yeah, I like that pick a lot, and I think that's a really good one. That's actually one of my plays is in that game as well. So I think that's a really good play. Kyle Pitts is going to be a stud. Tight ends historically do not light up the NFL their first season. It usually takes a year or two. There's really hasn't ever been that guy. Like Gronk, I probably is the only one in recent memory who really, like, as soon as he entered the league, was just ridiculous and a stud and everything. And Gronk's just built different. Like there's no Gronk. So I like that play. I'd be interested in that one as well. All right. My next play that I'm going to have is heading back out to the AFC champions. Chiefs, I'm going to play this at 2 different numbers. I got it when it first opened at -1. It is up to -3 right now, and I am going to play it again at -3 against Baltimore. In Baltimore, this is a Sunday night football game. Every year, there is that team that is just destroyed by injuries. Last year, it was the 49ers. This year, it is the Ravens. I don't know if you've read that injury list. It looks like a wedding invitation list. Like it just keeps going with names. They just lost, I think it's either left guard or right guard for the season, Tyree Phillips. They are just falling apart left and right. And it does kind of stink to see, but it's not for me because I don't like the Ravens. But, you don't ever want to see a good team. Yeah, well, you have a different reason. You're a Steelers fan. But you never want to see a good team really just get torn apart with injuries. It kind of sucks, but take advantage of it. Turnovers are a massive issue for Baltimore. Lamar Jackson is a liability. He had those 2 late fumbles that were just fatal in that game against Vegas. There's no reason it ever should have came down to that point. But Lamar, if you watch Lamar in the pocket, he just dances with the ball, just loosey-goosey in his hand. And he holds the ball way too long. I've seen quarterbacks who hold the ball way too long. My quarterback, Carson Wentz, did it a lot during his tenure in the Eagles. And
he had your quarterback?
My boy. I'll stand by him no matter what, even if he's not here anymore. He had the most fumbles of any first quarterback in his first 4 seasons of all time. And he was averaging over 1 a game. Carson Wentz, this is, because he would hold the ball way too long. Lamar Jackson is doing the same thing. And he just runs around. Like I said, he runs around with the ball just in one hand all over the place. Not a care in the world of where anyone's coming. Carl Nassib came around the corner, slapped it out of him. Max Crosby, who's probably one of my favorite players to watch in the NFL. He is a machine.
He seemed to almost catch up to Lamar in that one play.
Yeah, he's awesome. He is going to be a Pro Bowler at some point. Like, he is that good. He ripped one out of Lamar's hands. Like, it was insane how much. Go to the other side of the ball for Baltimore. Their defense gave up a lot of big plays to Oakland, especially down the stretch. And again, they are the walking wounded back there. Marlon Humphrey started to get beat up. You put a finger up. You got something.
Yeah. I just want to ask you, did you watch the Peyton Manning Eli?
I flipped between a bunch of different things.
You should have watched it in the 4th quarter, because I'll tell you why they kept getting burnt. If you were watching, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They essentially in the 4th quarter, they were just essentially calling their own play against the defense. All of the 4th quarter and the overtime, they ran cover 0 the entire 4th quarter.
I did see that, actually, which was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, put some respect on my guy Derek Carr's name. Like, he's not that bad. He's not Trevor Lawrence out there.
Fresno State great.
That's right. Got to have him and Devontae Adams linking up again. Yeah. I'd love to see it. Baltimore, like I said, their defense, it wasn't that great. If you have to put Marlon Humphrey covering Hunter Renfrow, you've got real problems. You can't stop Hunter Renfrow on coming at you. They had no answer for Darren Waller whatsoever. What is Travis Kelce going to do to this defense? Like, it is going to be unbelievable. Chiefs offense, like I said, I think I teased it a little bit ago. They didn't have like the massive big plays they usually do or anything, but they still averaged 6.4 yards per play in this last game. And Baltimore gave up 6.1 yards a play. That's one of the largest numbers Baltimore's ever had with any of this defenses they throw out there, right? And what I love most about this team, because these are two playoff teams, generally speaking. These are two of the best, maybe not this year, but they're generally speaking two of the better teams in the AFC. Kansas City in their last 5 matchups is 4-1 against the spread head-to-head against Baltimore. Chiefs, laying 3, give it to me.
No, I like that a lot. I liked it better at 1, obviously, but I do
love it
like
at
it.
1. I have a 10-unit play on it at 1.
Ooh, double max bet banger.
We're going big. We're going big.
I do
I'm
like
so
that. You could essentially add that to my card. I have a teaser. I couldn't find a 5th play. I wasn't really sure. I needed some confirmation from you, so there it is. You can add that to my card officially.
Love to see it. Love to see the boys riding.
Yes, sir. I have a teaser for you. A little sprinkle in the tease, have some fun. You want to tease me, I tease you, kind of thing. How you doing?
Ooh, save that for after the show.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I got a little of my feelings right there. I have a 6.5 point teaser only because the line just moved and I don't want to give out the wrong kind of teaser. Normally I only do 6 point teasers, but if I have to lose the half, I lose the half. The Bucks and the Browns. I like the Browns by themselves as it is, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But the Bucks are going up against a team that the Eagles beat down bad last week. The Falcons looked all sorts of bad. Couldn't even get Calvin Ridley to go off after that first drive. The Bucks offense looked very, very good. Their defense, not so much, which makes me not very confident in the 12.5 that they're laying. The defense, I don't know. They look slow. They looked slow. Am I wrong?
I think that's a Super Bowl hangover. I think that's a week to week kind of thing. And once they kick it into gear and Bruce Arians and mainly Tom Brady kicks it into gear with those guys, I'm not worried because that's one of my plays. I actually am on the Bucks minus 12.5 on this.
In theory, I don't hate it, but
yeah, I'll let. Yeah, it's I think it's a Super Bowl hangover effect with that. It's just you didn't have the full off season, so the other guys did. You were drinking a little bit too much, partying a little bit too much. Taking that trophy around, throwing it across the river, and everything.
Well, everybody but Tom Brady, because he was drinking. After that one day of tequila, he was back on his green juice.
Back on that grind. He's back on the grind. The TB12 method, baby.
Yeah. Listen, they gave up 28 points to the Cowboys. The Falcons aren't the Cowboys. You have to put respect where respect is due, even though they're in your division rivals. The Cowboys have a top 5 offense. They really do. They have all the pieces. It's just whether they can put it together, and Dak can have a great game, the defense and all that. We're not here to talk about the Cowboys. The Falcons stink. Matt Ryan looked like he was never even ever had an opportunity to ever win MVP in his life. He looked like Carson Wentz out there. He looked terrible.
It was unbelievable because Matt Ryan historically plays the Eagles very well.
Yeah.
He is a local boy. He comes out and puts up numbers.
Yeah.
Maybe Julio being gone just changed everything.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to throw the ball, didn't work. He looked bad. I think they do get it together a little bit. I'm a little worried about the 12.5. I don't like it as much as I do, but like if you bring it down to a 6, they should cover that no problem. And as far as the Browns go, I do think that they can cover the original number. Quick stat about the handle on the Browns: only 50% of early bets are on the Browns, but they carries 94% of the money, which is something you love to see. Only having about 50%, but having most of the money, it means a lot of sharp action is on it, especially earlier on in the week. The Browns are playing one of the worst teams in the league. Unlike Urban Meyer, Kevin Stefanski will know to run the ball down the Texans' throat until they choke on a little bit of Nick Chubb. Like I said, I lead in this game by itself. I haven't officially made it a play yet. Anything under 14, I'd take it. But with the 12.5 that I just moved to, as I was writing this, it was still 12, and then I looked back just to double check it. When I went to go make the bet, then it was 12.5. It's like, fuck, I gotta add the 0.5. The Texans just took advantage of Urban Meyer in a way that they won't be able to do with the Browns. The Browns are going to come out very angry after losing that game in that I would say embarrassing fashion. But that's back-to-back times they just lost to the Chiefs, and that's not going to happen against the Texans. I like you bring us down both to 6. If you don't like either one of these, take the Broncos just to win. I think that's even better. I couldn't decide which one I wanted. You could take all 3 of them. But you never tease 3 teams; you only tease 2. And always when you're teasing, I told you last week I wanted to bring it up. That's why I made it a play. When you're teasing, always make sure you tease it through football numbers. Don't just take a teaser just to lower it by 6 points. Make sure it's with reason. Usually I take a teaser between like 7 or 8. Make sure it gets through 7, 6, and 3. But in this case, I'm getting through 10, 9, 7, and then I'll push it 6 if I have to. But usually I'm not going to push it 6, so give it to me.
I like that. That's not bad at all. I actually might even ride that one with you because I do like that a lot.
Let's go.
I'm gonna ride
The
with the boy.
boys
I'm
are
gonna ride with the
riding.
boy. I ride with my boy. I will ride with that one. I do like that. The logic is there. I feel good about that. I'll kind of piggyback off of there because I have one of my plays is the Bucks. I did get it at -12, like you said. It also jumped to -12.5 with this game. I was able to get it at -12 against the Falcons. Everything Billy said. The Eagles, my Eagles, just convincingly beat the Falcons. If you watch this game, I watched every single snap of this game. It was a much closer game in the beginning and everything.
I just got to grab some water.
Okay, you're good. I'll keep talking. It was a very interesting game.
Sorry,
this guy.
I'm dying of thirst.
Unbelievable. Like I said, I didn't go too far. I didn't want to tease it too much for the viewers and everything. Eagles won convincingly in this game by double digits, but it was in the first half a little bit closer of a game than it ended up being. Jalen Hurts, like I said earlier, he tore up that defense. The Falcons' defense stinks. It is not good. The Falcons are going to be in the running for the first overall pick, definitely. The Bucks' offense, it looked like a well-oiled machine, and that's with Mike Evans doing almost nothing. Once they get Mike Evans reincorporated into that offense and everything and get a little bit more of a semblance of a running game, they're going to be unstoppable again. Like it's unbelievable. They're just going to pick apart these weak teams in the division. I'm so sorry, Carolina. I'm so sorry, Atlanta. You're going to get hog-mollied 4 times this year, and it sucks for you. But give me those points. Tampa last year was 12-8 against the spread, but Atlanta was only 5-7, and then 2-4 against their own division. So Atlanta doesn't cover. There's no shot they're going to cover this game. This is going to be a runaway game for Tampa Bay in my book.
I agree. The number doesn't like the 12. It's a little strange to me. Like I feel like
weird.
It should be like a 17-point spread, but like the NFL will never give you that. There's a reason why the NFL is the hardest sport to bet on because they're usually right. But I'm off that game as far as a straight up spread goes, but I will be on the teaser. I don't hate it though. They should win by 30. They really should.
Oh, absolutely. To me, this game's going to end up being like a 37-10 game.
I mean, this game could have a bigger final spread than the under I'm about to take next. So, going through, I'm going to be on the Jets, Pats under 42.5.
Love that pick.
Yeah, I mean, when we broke down each conference, I told you guys I'm going to be on the Pats unders all year, be on the Jets unders all year. I just want to call a system play, like how we did good teams over, 2 good defenses over, and whatnot. AFC East is a under system play for me. Just going to run through why I'm going to be on it. No actual like player reasons, it's just statistics. Under 4-0 last four Patriots road games. Under 8-1 last Patriots 9 overall. Under 7-1 Patriots last 8 on field turf. Under 6-1 Patriots last 7 versus the AFC. Under 12-2 in the Patriots last 14 road games versus a team with a home losing record. On the Jets side, let's take a quick look. There it goes. Under 4-1 last Jets 5 overall. Under 4-1 the Jets last 5 as an underdog. Under 5-1, 5-2 in the Jets last 7 following against the spread loss. Under 5-2 in the Jets last 7 after scoring less than 15 points. How many times do I have to say under before you just take the under?
I'm literally putting a bet in for the under right now.
I saw you pick up your phone. You want another one? I'll give you one more.
Just logged in.
I'll give you one more. The under is 7-3 in the Jets' last 10 games, following up a straight-up loss. Under. Mr. Mo Watts, I have the microphone in my hand.
Absolutely love it.
Take the under.
Yeah,
With this,
I'm literally putting it in right now. Like I love
yeah,
that
I
play.
mean, it worked last week when I was on the that was another bet that I did win. Patriots Dolphins under, it hit by a mile. I told you guys it's just gonna be a system play and it's going to work. Lock me in.
Locked in.
Lock Morgan
It's
in
locked
too.
in. I just locked it in. I love that play. I honestly had forgotten when we talked about the unders for those games and everything. And I looked at that game earlier and I was like, this is going to be a slop fest. Like you got two rookie quarterbacks going up out there. It's going to be nothing great. But they always play each other very closely. Belichick has just a pure hatred of the Jets, but it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be like a 19-17 kind of game. Like
Yep.
it's going to be ugly. The Patriots aren't going to put up big points all season. Like that's not what they're built to do. They have a pretty solid defense. Still, the Jets aren't awful on the defensive end. They have some nice pieces. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I locked that play in. I absolutely love that pick.
Live locked in.
Live locked in. Live in the moment. Lock that right now. That will be on my card as well come Sunday. All right, I'm going to another game that I think is going to be super ugly. I'm on Cincinnati money line versus the Chicago Bears. The Bears are atrocious. They are just a terrible team. They are awful to watch. They're coming off a terrible performance against the Rams where they lost by 20, but they did not look good. Their defense looked old. It looked slow. Like I said a couple weeks ago when I was previewing the NFC, they got cooked. Matt Stafford was throwing that ball at will against them. Joe Burrow did not look terrible throwing it against the Vikings defense. He threw for 261 and 2 touchdowns. He stood in there well. Their offensive line is still a problem, but Jamar Chase caught the ball. T. Higgins is out there still. Tyler Boyd is out there still. Mixon ran very well. Like they have a lot of weapons on that side of the ball that I don't think Chicago can really hold up against. As long as Andy Dalton is out there for the Bears, there's no weapons on that offense. Montgomery is going to get 8 in the box every single game stacking up against him. I feel
Montgomery
bad for
ran
Allen
real
Robinson.
well last week, though.
He did. I agree. He did run very well. But I think that's because you focus so much on like Andy Dalton's not going to beat you. Allen Robinson really didn't do anything in that game, and he's a very good receiver. He's probably a top 10 receiver in the NFL. You need to put Justin Fields in there to free Allen Robinson. I got Allen Robinson in my fantasy team. Free A-Rob. We're going to start a hashtag free A-Rob movement right now.
He'll probably still somehow catch 1,000 yards this year.
Oh, absolutely, he will. He'll find a way because he is a talented receiver. But like I said, the Bengals offense put up 366 yards of combined offense against the Vikings. Vikings have a pretty decent defense. They're not that bad. Like we said in the NFC preview show, they were relying more veterans in the secondary this year instead of the older or the younger guys and everything. It's going to prove dividends down the line. I said I think the Vikings are going to be a playoff team. I think they might have a chance of winning that division, especially with that pick looking to win the division looks great right now after that Packers game. So let me just say that. We'll toot myself on the horn. Chicago's offense does nothing. They put up 4.7 yards per play. Like I said, they don't have the weapons, and they're keeping their best weapons sitting on the bench. So I think Cincinnati comes in and wins this game just outright. Right now I had a number. It was plus money on Cincinnati because they were, I think, a 3-point underdog originally with this game in Chicago. I'm actually trying to pull it up right now, but
they are currently 2.5, but it did
two
open
and a half.
up at 3.
Yeah.
So the money's coming in on the Bengals for sure.
Yeah,
Trying to get people to bet
right now
on the Bears.
I got plus 125 right now on a Bengals money line. Absolutely, give it to me. I'd rather have that than the plus 2.5 for the Bengals. It's going to be more than a field goal game at the end of the day for this one. Let me get the Bengals to win. I think they have a very good shot at this. Burrow looked good. I like Joe Burrow now. I'm a Joe Burrow guy.
Oh, now he's a Joe Burrow guy.
I flip-flopped,
Oh, flippy floppy. I'm not as confident as you are on that money line, but I do think if you're gonna take a plus 2.5 or plus 3, you might as well sprinkle at least. I don't know how I feel about that game. I don't like betting on the Bears ever until Matt Nagy is gone. Andy Dalton stinks, but it's Matt Nagy that's really the problem. If we're being honest, like they had a chance to get that game close on Sunday, and Matt Nagy purposely runs a 13-yard pass instead of a 15-yard pass to not get the fourth down conversion. It was brutal to watch. Feel bad for these players because that was how the play was
I
designed.
feel
Like
bad for all of our fans in Chicago right now watching this, just knowing that they have to watch this slop every single week.
yeah, I mean, it was exhilarating watching Justin Fields go on the field on the second play of the game, and I was like, oh, he took on one play, and then he was right back on the bench. I felt so bad for the kid because he had the helmet on the entire game, like waiting,
He
like,
was
all
ready
right,
to
dude.
go. He wanted it.
Um, I have one quick college lean before we close it out, just because there was some news that happened today. I just want to throw it in the show before it's too late. Nevada -2. Nevada money line, if you'd like, if you want to feel a little bit safe, it's only -135 at the -2. Before the line goes up, it probably already went up. I haven't checked again. I took it before blindly. Uh, they're playing Kansas State. Kansas State's quarterback will be out. They'll have their backup quarterback in. Uh, it was a pick 'em. They already moved to -2. Grab it up until it gets to -3.5. Once it hits the 3.5, that's a bad number, and we don't need to go down that road again with Mr. Mo Watts. But what a bad number, and what not a bad number is. But I digress. But I just want to throw that out there. I've already bet it. That's an official pick. We'll talk more into it tomorrow. I'll break the game down a little bit more.
I can't wait to talk college again. I love college
Yeah,
football so much. It's
it
so much
was
better than the NFL.
it was brutal. College football was brutal to me, but I love it. You know what?
Like,
I'll take the loss. I don't like taking the loss of 7 games, but to go watch Ohio State live, it's quite intense. Quite intense. You know.
I mean, like I said, we talked pre-show about it, and I felt jealous. I'm very jealous. We were saying like Penn State whiteout games. Everyone knows I hate Penn State, but Penn State whiteout game, those experiences, you can't miss them. There's nothing like it. You don't have that in the NFL.
Yeah.
There's none of
I
that
was
experiences
I
like
was
college.
sitting 2 rows behind these Oregon fans, former Marines, real nice guys, weren't like disrespectful towards us, but they were like picking fights with the student crowd because 18-year-old kids wasted all day. That's how it's gonna go. But you guys know I'm a hockey fan. The guy literally turns around. You watched the game because you had the Oregon -13.5. You know that third down stop they had when the plays went absolutely nutty,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then they went for it on fourth down. They eventually got it, but the third down, the guy turns around. He goes, "You are so fucking loud." I go, "Listen, dude, I'm a hockey fan. I'm built for this. I don't know if these people around me aren't. Like I was with some timid kids. They're like not really like crazy about like just going wild like I am. I'm a Buckeyes fan for life now. Win, lose, or draw.
I'm glad I was on that Oregon side. That's all I got to say.
Listen,
That was
you
too
can't
big
I
of a
can't just go
number.
there. I can't go into the horseshoe and
No, that's fair.
bet
You can't.
Oregon. That ain't gonna
I agree.
happen.
I agree with you completely. I'm 100% agree with that. You got to ride with the school you're going to watch right there. Too big of a number. There's no way I was
That's
going
fair.
there.
That's fair. That's it, right, Morgan?
It is. Yeah, I do have one more pick, but I'm going to leave that in the pick six. Everyone listening right now, viewing, go find it in the article that's going to get posted. It's going to be out either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Good
I got one
promo.
more play. I got one more play that I really like in there. Actually, it might be one of my top. It probably is a top play of the week for me. Maybe it might even make it into the lock of the week category. Um, it's one that I'm really excited about. It is a 4:05 game. That's where I'll kind of leave it at right there. So take a look at ffdpodcast.com. You'll see the week 2 pick 6 right there.
Yeah.
You can go find that pick right there for
Yeah.
yourself. I'll just leave it there.
That was a great promo. Didn't see that coming. That was
Yeah.
beautiful. That'll be up before this our episode comes up, so it'll be live by the time you get to watch this. It'll be promoted all over everything. Mr. Mowas, where can we find you at?
You can find me at MoWatch26, but mainly you can find me at Betting the Diagonal. I am there consistently. We are both there consistently putting up plays. We cannot wait. There is a college football and NFL game tomorrow. Where we said earlier, I don't know if we'll touch on the NFL game. The college football game does intrigue me a little bit. It is Ohio versus Louisiana Lafayette. Louisiana Lafayette entered the season as the number 21 ranked team in the country. They aren't there anymore. They got shellacked by Texas week 1. But they're still a pretty solid team. And I love my Maction. So I got to get some Maction action, baby.
All right. You can follow me at BillyFFD on Twitter. You can follow me at FFD_podcast. You can follow me at Betting Diagonal. Follow us on Instagram, FFD_podcast for all your fantasy football questions. We will have our best bets for NFL up there officially every week now. Listen, guys, nothing lasts forever. My cold streak's gonna come to an end. Everything's gonna be better. You know, it's a new week, new me. I'm a new man. Found a new favorite team. Until next time, guys, best of luck. We'll see you guys tomorrow.